Have you ever wondered why some people in Japan live past 100 and still move like they're in their 60s? There's a doctor in Japan, over 100 years old, who shocked the medical world not because of some secret medicine but because of something far simpler. Every single night before bed, he does 3 gentle stretches. That's it, just 3. And according to him, these stretches have not only kept him flexible, but have also helped him sleep better, wake up refreshed, and live with energy that people half his age can't even imagine. Sounds unbelievable, right? But stay with me, because by the end of this video I'm going to walk you through exactly what these 3 stretches are, how to do them properly, and why millions of people around the world are now copying his simple bedtime routine. In a world where we're constantly looking for quick fixes, supplements, medications, or high-tech solutions to stay healthy and live longer, it's almost surprising to discover that one of Japan's oldest doctors found the real secret of longevity in something so simple. He didn't rely on any expensive treatments or miracle drugs. Instead, he focused on a nightly ritual that was so gentle, so effortless, yet so powerful that it changed his life and the lives of over 1 million people around the world. His philosophy was beautifully straightforward: health and longevity begin with how you care for your body before you rest. Every night before bed, he would spend just a few quiet minutes doing 3 gentle stretches, and he credited this small act as one of the biggest reasons he was able to live past 100 with vitality and grace. For him, movement wasn't just about fitness, it was about maintaining balance in life, calming the mind, and allowing the body to reset itself naturally. He used to say that most people misunderstand aging. It's not the number of years that makes you old, it's the stiffness that settles into your body and mind when you stop moving. That's why his focus was on maintaining flexibility not only in his muscles but in his way of living. The simplicity of his method was its greatest strength. There were no complicated rules, no strict timing, and no special equipment. Just gentle motion, mindful breathing, and a few minutes of self-care before sleep. It was his way of telling his body, "Thank you for today, now rest well." Over time, he noticed that his patients who practiced these nightly stretches not only slept better but also woke up with more energy, better posture, and fewer aches. Their blood circulation improved, their stress levels dropped, and even their moods lifted. It was as if a tiny habit before bedtime could reset their entire system. This approach reflects a deep truth often overlooked in modern wellness culture. We tend to believe that bigger efforts bring bigger results, but the doctor proved the opposite. Small, consistent actions done with mindfulness can create massive long-term change. The simplicity of his nightly stretches made it easy for anyone to follow, whether they were young or old, fit or frail. It became a universal ritual, accessible to everyone, and that's what made it so powerful. The Japanese culture has a beautiful concept called kaizen, which means continuous improvement through small steps. The doctor embodied this idea. His nightly routine wasn't just about keeping the body flexible, it was about improving the quality of life one small movement at a time. He often compared the human body to nature. Just as rivers flow freely when not blocked, our body functions best when energy and circulation move without obstruction. Tight muscles and stress are like dams in that river, they block the flow and cause problems over time. His nightly stretches were a way to remove those blockages to keep the body's internal river flowing smoothly. That's why he called them sleep medicine without pills. They help the body relax naturally without relying on anything external. And when the body relaxes deeply, it heals itself. It digests better, the heart beats more calmly, the mind quiets, and the immune system strengthens. In essence, his secret wasn't really a secret at all. It was the power of simplicity. Doing less but doing it with intention. It's the idea that wellness isn't about doing everything perfectly, it's about doing small things consistently and kindly for your body. His nightly stretches were more than a physical practice. They were a reminder to slow down, breathe, and treat the body as a lifelong companion deserving care and gratitude. Through simplicity, he found longevity, peace, and a kind of energy that age could never take away. The spinal wave was the first and most essential stretch in the doctor's bedtime routine, and it's easy to understand why he swore by it for decades. He believed that the spine is the core of human vitality, the axis that connects every part of the body, and when it's tense or misaligned, everything else suffers. After observing thousands of patients over his long medical career, he noticed that those who maintained spinal flexibility rarely complained of chronic pain, fatigue, or poor sleep. They moved more gracefully, aged more slowly, and carried an inner calm that radiated through their daily lives. The spinal wave became his way of maintaining that inner balance, a simple soothing motion that restored harmony between the body and mind before sleep. The beauty of this stretch lies in its simplicity. You lie on your back, bend your knees slightly, and begin to lift your hips one vertebra at a time, as if your spine is creating a soft, flowing wave. As you inhale, you lift. As you exhale, you lower slowly, feeling each bone reconnect with the surface beneath you. There's no rush, no strain, just pure awareness of how your body moves. The doctor often said that our spine tells the story of our day. Every stress, every worry, every hour spent sitting hunched over screens, all of it gets stored in the muscles around our spine. By bedtime, our body is tight, our breathing shallow, and our nervous system overstimulated. The spinal wave acts like a gentle reset button. It releases that tension, improves blood flow to the back and brain, and reminds the body that it's safe to relax. Over time, it strengthens the small supporting muscles that keep the spine aligned, reducing the risk of pain and improving posture. But the real magic happens in how it affects the nervous system. Moving slowly and breathing deeply while performing the wave signals your parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for rest and recovery, to take over. Your heart rate slows down, cortisol levels drop, and your body begins preparing for deep sleep. That's why people who do this stretch consistently often fall asleep faster and wake up feeling lighter. He also believed that this motion symbolized something deeper, the natural rhythm of life itself. Just as waves rise and fall, the body needs to expand and release. Move and rest. The spinal wave teaches that balance. It's not about how far you can lift your hips or how strong your core is. It's about reconnecting with your body's rhythm, learning to move with awareness and ease. The doctor often demonstrated it to his elderly patients, some in their 70s or 80s, and they were amazed at how such a small movement could bring so much relief. Within weeks, many reported reduced stiffness, fewer backaches, and a surprising improvement in mood. It's because when the spine moves freely, energy flows freely. The ancient Japanese and Chinese healing traditions both emphasize that the spine is the pathway of life force, and when that pathway is blocked, both physical and emotional well-being are affected. The doctor's nightly spinal wave wasn't just about physical maintenance, it was an act of self-compassion. It reminded him that even in stillness the body could heal through motion. It was his way of unwinding the tension of the day, of thanking his spine for carrying him through life. In his words, a flexible spine means a flexible life. The more you nurture your spine, the more vitality you invite into every part of your being. That's why he practiced it religiously, not as a workout, but as a form of meditation in motion, a way to bridge the body and the mind before sleep took over. The hip opener, which the doctor fondly called the hip opener of longevity, was the second stretch in his nightly ritual, and it held a very special meaning in his philosophy of health. To him, the hips were not just another joint in the body, they were the center of movement, balance, and energy. In Japanese wellness traditions, the hips are seen as the foundation of the body's strength and stability, the place where life force gathers. When this area becomes tight or stagnant, it doesn't just affect physical mobility, it influences mood, energy, and even digestion. The doctor noticed that many of his elderly patients who struggled with fatigue, restlessness, or insomnia often had limited hip mobility. Their bodies were literally holding onto tension in the pelvic region. So, every night before he allowed himself to rest, he practiced this gentle hip-opening stretch to release that physical and emotional tightness that had built up throughout the day. He would sit comfortably, often on his bed, cross-legged or with his feet together, and slowly lean forward as he exhaled, feeling a soft pull in his hips and lower back. The key, he said, was not to push or strain but to move with compassion, to listen to what the body was telling him. He would hold the stretch for a few deep breaths, then slowly return to an upright position, inhaling deeply and expanding his chest before repeating the movement again. Over time, he found that this simple practice helped him sleep more peacefully. The tension that used to sit in his hips, especially after long hours of standing or sitting, would dissolve with every slow, mindful breath. He described it as releasing the weight of the day. That phrase beautifully captured what this stretch truly represented. It wasn't just about loosening muscles, it was about letting go of the emotional baggage that the body unconsciously stores. Modern research now supports what the doctor intuitively knew decades ago, that the hips and lower back are deeply connected to emotional stress. When we experience anxiety, frustration, or fear, the hip flexors tighten as part of the body's natural stress response. It's a physical manifestation of holding on. Over time, these tensions accumulate, affecting posture, mobility, and even mental calm. By gently stretching this area before bed, the doctor was doing more than improving flexibility. He was teaching his body to relax, to feel safe, and to trust the process of rest. The increased blood flow to the pelvic region also aided digestion and hormone regulation, which naturally contributed to better sleep quality. He observed that many of his elderly patients who began practicing this nightly hip stretch experienced a remarkable transformation. Within weeks, they reported fewer sleepless nights, better digestion, and a surprising sense of lightness when they moved. They woke up with less stiffness in their legs and lower back. For some, it even reduced chronic pain caused by tight hip joints. The doctor often reminded people that true health isn't built in a day, it's built through small actions repeated with care and intention. He used to say that consistency is the real medicine, and that gentle movement practiced daily could transform not just the body but the way we experience life itself. He proved this through his own example, continuing his 3 nightly stretches even past the age of 100. He didn't see these movements as exercise but as conversation with his body, a way of checking in, expressing gratitude, and maintaining harmony. His philosophy was simple: the body thrives on kindness. You don't have to push it to its limits to keep it young, you only need to treat it with patience and awareness. This mindset was what allowed him to remain active and flexible at an age when most people give up on physical movement altogether. He believed that movement was life, and as long as the body could move, even gently, there was potential for vitality and joy. He used to remind his patients that the body is like a garden. It needs attention but not force. If you water it a little every day, it will grow strong and resilient, but if you neglect it or overwork it, it withers. His 3 bedtime stretches were his daily watering, simple acts that nurtured his physical and mental well-being. This idea inspired millions who learned about his nightly ritual. They realized that they didn't need to commit to exhausting workout routines or drastic lifestyle changes to feel better. Just a few mindful movements before bed could help their bodies unwind and their minds settle. This consistency became the true secret of his success. People who practiced his method found themselves not only sleeping better but also moving through their days with more energy and clarity. It wasn't just a physical transformation, it was emotional and mental renewal as well. One of his most powerful teachings was that aging gracefully isn't about trying to look young, it's about staying connected to your body and keeping it responsive. He noticed that those who stopped moving regularly began to age faster not because of their years but because of their stiffness. Their joints became less mobile, their posture weakened, and their energy faded. But those who kept even a small movement practice every day, no matter how gentle, retained their vitality. Their bodies stayed supple and their minds stayed flexible too. He believed that flexibility in the body leads to flexibility in the spirit. When your body can bend and move freely, your thoughts and emotions do the same. You become more patient, more open, and more peaceful. His philosophy also carried a spiritual lesson. Each stretch was a reminder to slow down and honor the moment. In a fast-paced world where people rush from one task to another, he found beauty in stillness and gentle motion. The act of stretching before bed became a kind of meditation, an invitation to listen inward, to release the noise of the day, and to reconnect with the simple rhythm of breathing. He believed that when you move your body with intention, your mind learns to rest with intention too. That's why he never skipped his nightly ritual, no matter how tired he was. For him, these stretches were not just a habit, they were an expression of gratitude for the gift of movement itself. And through that gratitude, he discovered the true essence of longevity, not just living longer but living with lightness, peace, and purpose every single day.